Few, if any, felt the pain of 2019 like Simon Goodwin. But the senior coach can finally put the year from hell behind him as he heads into Amy Park to get the pre-season underway.
You know, we got a lot wrong, and you know, we've spoken about that. You know, we got our whole summer wrong, and we lacked cohesion in the way we played. So I'll put that to bed, but also use it as a learning experience and make sure that we get this season right. You know, we've got a lot of work to do, and you know, it starts today. I wanted to go back to 2019. Remember that there? All the things pretty much that we don't want to be. It was one of the great reminders of what's important to us in footy. So how did you feel at that point, Lance?
Feeling pretty embarrassed and you know, ashamed at that point. You know, going to the Bernal end of the season. I've never felt like I wanted to hide so much in my life.
So that's the last thing we'll speak about 2019. Because I know you're hurting, and I know it's sitting right in your guts. That's going to fuel our summer.
We're going to attack this weekend and get the season absolutely started the way we want. Let's get out.
After a failed pre-season 12 months prior, all eyes now turn to Darren Burgess to see if the performance manager can transform his new side.
You all know what's going on this afternoon. So today, we're going to start off with a warm-up. We're going to do the sub-max yo-yo. What we're trying to do is see how quickly your heart rate comes from a work rate to nothing. We'll explain as we go how that relates to your footy. Okay, so that's the first thing we'll do. We're going to jog over to the 10. Okay, 3K time trial. We're going to start at the bottom of Anderson Street and go around the other way, and we'll finish somewhere near the top of Anderson Street. Okay? Any questions?
Beautiful.
Okay, we're good to go.
Burgess is wasting no time in putting the playing group to the test, as the club heads over to the Tan to complete its 3-kilometre time trial, a challenge the boys have never encountered. As temperatures continue to rise, the trek begins on Alexandra Avenue, with a steady incline the whole way round. Alex Neil-Bullen was the first to cross the finish line.
Yeah! Come and give me your times.
Good, Clary! Good, thanks.
Let's go, boys, on your feet. Let's walk back. It's easy walk to start off with. Let's go.
Have they come back in the shape that you were wanting them to?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, you know, having a year like we had last year, that kind of motivates the players to come back in a better shape, and they've done that really well. I've had plenty of communication with the boys over the break, you know, and now they've really nailed it.
Boys, just bring it in. What can we control? We can control our preparation. What can't we control? So what are the things we can't control today? Yes, the heat. Love the heat. Love it, okay? The heat is way better than anything else. Any running session, the heat will make you adapt quicker. Kicking first, then the handball games. Away we go.
I sort of have an 80-20 approach, 80% footy, 20% running, and if the boys get the sort of the distances and what we want out of the footy session, then they won't do any running.
Which way is Pink going? Play! Touch! Turnover! One ball! Drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Spread!
The handball sort of multi-directional game is it's two things really. It's fitness clearly because they're working really hard, and it's also decision making. You've got to get that combination of really hard work so the boys know that they're being pushed to their limits, and also when to pull back because you certainly don't want to lose anybody in pre-season because you're a bit over-enthusiastic. So it is a balance. It'll be hard work for sure, but we're certainly balancing that with appropriate recovery and things like that.
While the majority of the playing group is enjoying the grind, one injury-riddled demon is left watching on the sidelines. Aaron Vandenberg has managed just 7 games in the past 3 years, as his ongoing foot injury leaves some major doubt around his playing future.
I was training quite well in January last year, and then I started to get some hiccups. Just wasn't running right, wasn't turning right. It's like anything, your mind goes racing to worst possible scenario, and you start thinking about everything you've been through, and is it going to be really bad? Am I going to be able to play again? All those thoughts do race through your mind, and sadly it did equate to missing the entire season again.
Any pain with that?
No, all good.
Good. Vanders he's certainly had some ups and downs over the time, but he's a pretty strong-willed, determined character. So he's coped with it as good as anyone. He's never complained, he's never whinged, he's just got on with it.
Vanders?
Hello, mate.
You right?
I'm good.
Is he dying? He's dying?
This is his
Last day.
last session.
It's been real.
Yes.
All the best.
It's always got to be one, doesn't there?
There's still a risk that he's got a fair bit of water to go under the bridge before he gets back onto the park and plays an AFL game. So he's still got a fair bit of work to do, a fair bit of training to get through. But signs are at this stage that he's in a relatively good spot. So.
You feel all right? Yeah, it's not too bad. Nah, not at all. Thanks, Coach. I don't think we've ever been more aware of what I can and can't do, and what is going to help me sustain training for long periods of time. I'm on a very monitored schedule. We've probably got a pretty good understanding of where I'm at, and I think that given if we're careful, we're smart, and we monitor my loads well, and and I'm smart myself in the way I train and I prepare, then sky's the limit.
With a spot on the rookie list still up for grabs, the Melbourne Recruiters have turned their attention to a former number 2 draft pick. Bernal was recently delisted by the Dockers, and after playing just 2 games in the past 4 years, his troublesome calf makes him a risky proposition.
Geez, he looks good. Thanks for coming over.
No, thank you.
I'm going to ask you some hard questions, which you've probably been asked before, but we have to as a club, because otherwise we're not doing our job. Cool with that?
Yep.
Good. How do you feel if we said if you train with us, no drinking?
Fine.
No issue?
Fine.
Good.
I'm a hard man, but
Yep.
Do you watch much footy when you're on the sideline?
after the grand final, I had to leave it before the siren. We watched it at my brother's house. I went back home just seeing Josh Caddy, Dion Preston, Tom Lynch, I actually went home and started tearing up. Because they're in the grand finals, they're playing in the grand finals, and I'm injured, no contract, nothing.
So from my end, we're sitting here today, I don't really care about what's happened in the past. What I need to know is that you're going to try and do everything you can so it doesn't happen in the future. And people make mistakes all the time, and they get to a point in life where they say, I'm going to make some genuine change and then try and make a career out of something. I guess that's why we're sitting here today. Because if you walk into our environment, you'll get all the support, you'll get all the love, you get all the environment that'll help make you thrive, but you've got to walk with us. You know what I mean? That's as long as you're honest with us and that. I think we'll sit here now, there's lots of others make mistakes. But it's what you do about them moving forward.
In the early hours of Saturday morning, Melbourne takes to the Shrine for their weekly hill sprints, a new addition to their schedule ahead of season 2020.
Morning.
circle, have a stretch, take your seat. I've been doing this for 20 odd years and people have been saying it, but I just don't want you to show that you're okay. As soon as you get up the stairs, walk back down, keep moving, get around somebody. Don't do this because you'll do it in a game. Okay? Secondly, the volume for this week is about 36, 37k, which is a good week. I'll show you on Monday a little chat that I give to you. You guys didn't get above that all of last pre-season. For the whole pre-season you didn't get above that for whatever reason. Okay, and we're already getting above it in November. The downside of that is that next week is going to be about 20% harder than this week. Oh, yeah. Next week is probably our second hardest week of the whole pre-season. Right, so you need to really embrace it and understand what's coming. After that, I promise you it'll be a down week. I promise you it's a down week. Okay, I've worded up all the coaches. I promise you it's a down week. I'm happy to show you the data. But be happy with everything that you've done. It's been outstanding. But understand that next week it's going to be a hard one. You're going to be a bit sore, a bit tired. But prepare this weekend because next week everything goes up. Every day goes up about 20%. Really well done. Really well done. It's been outstanding. Enjoy the weekend. Well done.
Next week on To Hell and Back, Melbourne heads to the draft to land a couple of young stars. The pre-Christmas training goes to another level, and the wait is over for Bernal, who finally learns his fate.